Hello, so today we're going to discuss hypothesis testing. Okay, so what is hypothesis testing? We use hypothesis testing if we want to know if we're going to reject or to accept our null hypothesis. So it is a test that will be basis for rejecting or accepting the null hypothesis. But what is a hypothesis? In elementary years in science subjects, we are taught or we are given a definition of hypothesis as educated guess. And we do actually have two types of hypothesis, the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. So how do these two differ? For null hypothesis, our symbol that we use is H sub 0 or HO, which means that there is a negative effect, or simply it has no effect. So this is stating that there is no significant difference, there's no significant relationship, that it is not a significant predictor, there's no significant influence. So it actually depends now what is the inferential statistics involved in your research. Or we can also write this in symbols. So we can use the symbol for mean. So this means that the mean of the sample is equal to the mean of the population, or you can use actually the symbol for the population mean, which is the sigma. And then you can also say that the mean of group 1 is equal to the mean of group 2. So they are equal, of course, because there's no significant difference, or there's no significant relationship, or it is not a significant predictor, and all other inferential statistics problem or statistical problem. So for alternative hypothesis, so this is now a positive statement that indicates that there is an effect, or it has an effect, or it is with effect, or it is also saying that it is effective. So you want to prove that this intervention, for instance, is effective. So you are siding on that intervention because that's the intervention that you are proposing. So what are types of alternative hypothesis? Actually, for null and alternative hypothesis, we can state that using two-tailed or one-tailed test. It is two-tailed if we are just simply saying that there is no significant difference. We are not saying that one is higher or the other one is lower. So for two-tailed, the alternative hypothesis using two-tailed is stating that the sample mean is not equal to the sample, to the population mean. Or the mean of group 1 is not equal to the mean of group 2. While for one-tailed, so let's say we are saying that the mean of the sample is greater than the mean of the population, or one group is better than the population, the mean of the population, or group 1 is greater than group 2. We can also state this in null hypothesis. Say for instance, for our group 1, mean of group 1 is greater than the mean of group 2, we can say that the mean of group 1 is less than or equal to the mean of group 2. So its counterpart, so that we could say that the one-tailed alternative hypothesis is this. While if we use this as our alternative hypothesis, we can also state in our null hypothesis that the mean of the sample is less than or equal to the mean of the population. So how will we use now hypothesis testing? So we have here the steps that we're going to consider in using our inferential statistics, or in proving that, or in making decision that we're going to reject or to accept our null hypothesis. First, we must know our HO and HA. So we have to state our HO and HA. we will set our significance level. The usual significance level is 1% to 5%. Or usually we use 1% or 5%. And then we will determine the possible test. In determining for the possible test, we will check the conditions first. So we have preliminary analysis, like the nature of the data, the normality of the data, and all other conditions that we need to consider. And then number 4, after determining now the possible tests that we're going to use, then we will consider now using Microsoft Excel and online calculators, or you can also use SPSS if you have one. And then number 5, we will now make a decision whether you're going to accept or to reject your null hypothesis. Number 6, we will edit the table and then interpret the result. So these are the steps that we're going to follow in using hypothesis testing. So in the next video, we will consider now what are the assumptions that we need to consider before using the test, and what inferential statistics are we going to use.